Call the Kitty Hawk Town Council to order this Monday, April 1st, 2019. It's not April's Fool. We're really here. Kitty Hawk Town Hall, it's now 6 p.m. and everybody's here on time. Thank you. I'm going to call for a moment of silence, Pledge of Allegiance, and in your thoughts, we've had a traffic accident that has hurt some people very, very bad. I don't have the particulars yet, but maybe give those folks your thoughts when we go to a moment of silence, please. All right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next is a call for approval of the agenda. I don't have any changes to make to it. I thought I did, but I don't. So it's, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There are none. All right. Lynn, do we have anybody scheduled?
No one for public comment.
No one for public comment. Is anyone present that wants to speak to public comment? We have two of them. This is the first. All right. Let the record show no one came forward. Consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Again, none. We had nothing removed. Next, we have public hearing for a conditional use permit for a gas station at 6100 North Croatown Highway. I motion to go into public hearing. Does that have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. All right.
I need to swear in people.
Okay. This particular one requires swearing in of those that might speak, so Lynn will take care of that. And thank you for putting that on the agenda,
You're welcome.
because I have to be reminded, it's a little confusing sometimes.
Left hand on the Bible.
All right, the applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit to construct a gas station as part of the approved planned commercial development. The PCD overlay district states that permitted and conditional uses of the underlying zoning districts are permitted, and in the BC2 district, gas stations are permitted, conditional use with a number of specific conditions attached to them. The subject property here, 6100 North Croton, is presently zoned as BC2 with a planned commercial development overlay. There's currently an abandoned building on site. The parcel is approximately 35,000 square feet in area. Directly abutting the subject property to the north, across 158, is a medical office building and a pond that are part of the Southern Shores. Abutting the subject parcel to the west is an undeveloped parcel zoned BC2. To the south are 3 parcels zoned BC2, one of which is part of the PCD The other two contain a cabinet shop and an auto repair shop. And to the east, across the Woods Road, are undeveloped single-family residential properties zoned BR1. The proposed lot coverage shown on here on the site plan, they note 28,051 square feet, and they noted 58.3% lot coverage. That, I'll point out, is just of this, the individual parcel that the gas station and convenience store is on, as well as the access drive that comes in from the rear. For the PCD district, it states that the total ground area occupied by all principal buildings together with all accessory buildings and parking lots shall not exceed 50% of the total area of the PCD. So remember that the PCD also covers the larger, I think it's 5.5 acre parcel to the rear. In all, the overall PCD site is 6.24 acres, and the 28,051 square feet of coverage comes to approximately 10.3%, which is well below the maximum allowed. Building height is 35-foot max. That will come under review during the building permit application review. As you can see in the table below, both the convenience store and gas pump canopy meet all required setback requirements. For access for the proposed gas station and convenience store, it's proposed to be served by one 22-foot wide ingress-egress drive off of the Woods Road, as well as a right-in, right-out ingress-egress drive to access the site directly from 158. An additional right-in, right-out ingress-egress drive proposed on North Croatan that would access the future Phase 2 multifamily dwelling development. This access drive will also tie into the rear of the gas station, and a DOT permit would be necessary to install the proposed driveways onto 158 and the Woods Road. The interior drive also serves as a fire lane for the property and complies with the NC Fire Code. And I'll note that it's not shown on this particular plan, but during the planning board discussion, the idea was brought up of requiring the installation of a concrete median similar to the one out at the 7-Eleven at West Kitty Hawk Road. Doing so would prevent northbound traffic from being able to enter the gas station from 158, preventing a potential backup of cars turning left into the intersection of 158 and the Woods Road. So if this were to go in, northbound traffic wishing to enter the gas station would have to turn left onto Woods Road and use that access point. Although it was discussed at the planning board level and the board members seemed to like the idea, it was not included as a motion as it falls within the DOT jurisdiction. It was not clear whether the town had authority to make such a requirement. I personally didn't think we did, but after the planning board meeting, I reached out to DOT regarding that discussion. And they had their traffic engineers review the concept, and they do support the idea. And according to DOT, the town could make this a condition of approval if it's desired. And during construction, DOT would then approve its installation along with the driveway permits and encroachment agreements. And I do have what I sent to DOT, and it's included in your packet. So you can see the red line that's sketched in there is what was discussed, and it's on the north side of the turn lane. So it prevent northbound traffic from being able to enter the turn lane to turn left into the gas station. Parking calculations that with the retail space and the gas canopy, 16 spaces are required. The site plan shows a total of 20, which exceeds the minimum required. It was determined at the planning board level that buffers would not be required, vegetative buffers. On the south and west side of the proposed development is commercial zone. Our buffers are required between commercial zones and residential. There is a residential zone on the east side of the Woods Road, but the separation distance between the Woods Road and the proposed development site, it was felt that the buffer would not be needed in that case. Again, the lighting plan and the signs, those will be reviewed at the administrative level if the conditional use permit is approved. Septic improvements will be required before any building permits are issued. And the property is entirely located within the X flood zone, which means that the building is not required to meet any particular flood elevations. So per the standards of section 42-99B7, in order to approve the application, town council must make the findings that the proposed conditional uses, A, does not materially endanger the public health or safety. If all the required state and other permits are obtained, and the authorized agencies will have reviewed and permitted the driveway designs and locations, septic systems, water lines, stormwater management, and erosion sediment control plan. Therefore, it can be presumed that these improvements will be made in a safe manner. B, does meet all required conditions and specifications. The proposed development is consistent with all required conditions and specifications in the ordinance. C, will not substantially injure the value of adjoining property or be a public nuisance. Given that the site is set for a number of years with an abandoned building and a parking lot in disrepair, it would be staff's opinion that the proposed development would not injure the value of adjoining property. And there's no evidence that suggests that a gas station or convenience store would become a public nuisance. And D, will be in harmony with the area in which it's located and be in general conformity with the comprehensive plan. With the approval of the previous text request and PCD designation, the proposed use is in general conformity with the comprehensive plan. With the commercial zoning abutting commercial uses, the proposed use will be in harmony with the area in which it's located. At the February 14th, 2019 meeting, the planning board unanimously recommended approval of the proposed conditional use permit for the gas station at 6100 North Gordon Highway. That's all I've got. If you've got any questions.
Just clarification, the median, the potential median is setting on the north side of the westbound lane. You said it was for northbound traffic.
Right.
Just-
Heading towards the bridge.
That's right. It's westbound traffic, but
Right.
the medium is on the north side, so.
I will point out as well, I think it's indicated on this site plan, the red dot in here, there's one new fire hydrant that's going to be required for this development as well.
Okay, and one other thing for those that might view this later and see that what appears to be a large gap between the edge of 158 and the beginning of the actual gas station, that is state right-of-way that was acquired a long time ago for potential widening of the road at that point. I'm not sure what their purpose is, but that's the reason that it's set off the road. A lot of people don't understand that, so, all right. Okay, I don't have any questions. Council?
Rob, do we know yet where that fire hydrant will be located? You talked about
It's going to be in the area of the access on the Woods Road.
Wood Road. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Is the concrete median, is that something the state does, or is that something the applicant's going to have to pay to have put in?
DOT was not clear with me on that.
Okay.
I would assume that they would be on the developer to do that and just do it to the NCDOT regulations or their standards, but I can't say for sure.
I don't know. The state put into one for.
That's why I was wondering.
DOT does.
Yeah, that's why I was
Yeah,
wondering, just,
I have no clue.
you know.
I don't know. I would think they would do it as part of whatever else they do, but I guess those turning lanes, the applicant would have to do those? Is that correct?
Right.
Well,
DOT
they might
would
have to put
permit
in
it
the
and then they
median.
would
All
construct
right,
it.
it's something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, any others?
No, sir.
I have no questions.
Okay. Now we're open for any of those folks that got swore at.
Rick House?
I'm just here to answer any questions of the board, if you have any. I'm a owner of House Engineering, do the site plan, and we work with Rob, and if y'all have any questions of me, I'll be glad to answer.
Okay.
Eddie Goodrich?
I'm the applicant, and again, I'm here to answer questions as well as Rick. And in regards to the access driveways.
Can you come up here, please? I expect that question is important to you.
It is.
We'd like to know.
Again, my name's Eddie Goodrich, and in regards to the access drives, we'll do whatever the town requires and whatever NCDOT requires. And that is, the safety of people getting in and out of there is probably the most important thing, what we're gonna do.
Especially during the summer months.
every day.
Yeah.
And we found out today.
Now, here's the important question.
Yes, sir.
Do we yet know what kind of gas station we're talking about? Name? Are we allowed to know that yet?
I have asked the people, I've had them sign a confidentiality agreement, which binds me as well.
Okay.
But it'll be new, and it'll be 4,500 square feet, and construction will begin sometime in June or July.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pressing issue. Next.
Mr. Classen?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Rob, thank you for taking my emails and things during the process. Very supportive. I live in Kitty Hawk Estates, right next door to this. My first concern was, I understood there's like 62 homes possible in the same area, which is the same size as our neighborhood. So I was a little bit concerned about that. But staff has been working with me throughout this, and I presume they've been in communication with developers, so I do appreciate it. And certainly will look better than what's there. My two comments remaining are, one, to support that center median. That is so critical. That one down by 7-Eleven has had such a beneficial impact for driving up down the bypass. That's great. Second one, if you'll note my address, I live on Windsor Place. And if you look at the very top, and I'm glad this one's up here, there's a paper road up there called Windsor Road. And my request, because for public safety issues, is that that be changed as part of the process. I know there's on paper a road that runs all the way through, but in reality, it doesn't, and it's not going to do it probably by the time this gets developed. Rob was emailing back and said there's an understanding that maybe that will change. I would like the approval also to be contingent at some point in the future, or put on the final plat, so that if the housing development doesn't go through in a short period of time and all of us are gone, that'll still be remembered to change that, because for those of you who are involved in public safety or just have deliveries from a large national company that does stuff online, it's really a pain if have your address is the same as some other road and they can't find you. So do ask that that be changed also. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a great addition to our neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, and I talked with Rob about this before we came in, and we decided not to deal with that until such time as the second part of this comes into play. So basically, it's on the chart, it's on his agenda. We'll deal with it at an appropriate time, but that's not what we're dealing with tonight. Okay, anyone else?
No, sir, no one else signed up.
Okay. Anyone else need to speak now that you've heard some things? All right, let the record show no one else came forward. Council, do you have any further questions before I motion us to go back into regular session?
No, sir.
All right, I motion us to go back into regular session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There are none. Council, what do you want to do?
Mr. Mayor, I move to grant approval of the site plan and conditional use permit to allow a gas station at 6100 North Croatan Highway, subject to the condition listed in section 42-251C2, and subject to the installation of a concrete median on US 158 as outlined in the staff report.
All right, does it have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. All right, get a gas station in there. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Rob. Everybody, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And let us know what it is as soon as you can, please. Let us know what it is as soon as someone can.
All right. Next, we have planning, and the first thing is to schedule a public hearing. So let's do that, and then we can move on. Anyone?
Mayor.
Go ahead.
I move to set a public hearing at Town Council meeting on May 6, 2019, to consider the proposed text amendments to amend sections 42-250C2, 42-251C2, and 42-253C10 regarding the minimum setbacks from rights of way for gas pumps.
You got a problem? This is not gas pump. This is tiny
You
horses.
got 8A label wrong here?
My mistake.
Okay. We're setting a,
Subdivision?
no, it's right here.
Horses.
He gave you the wrong thing.
Yep, he gave me the wrong thing. I don't have a horse. All right, let's try this again. I got the wrong 8A, Ron.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
That's all right, just makes me look bad, that's okay. All right, try this again. I move to set a public hearing that Tyne Council meeting on May 6, 2019, to consider the proposed text amendments to amend sections 42-250C2, 42-251C2, 42-253C10. This also says gas
Yeah,
pumps.
Yeah, that was my mistake in the report.
Here, this one.
The amendment's gonna be
There you
to
go.
section
There you go.
4-6.
Mine, it's,
Is yours right?
yeah, mine's right.
I don't think so.
That's not right, is it?
Ain't
No,
right.
that's not right. No.
It was a typo in the staff report. It's the text amendment to section 4-6, commercial and non-commercial uses of horses.
You got it.
And that's your motion, right?
That is my motion.
You got it.
That's what he said.
All right, guys,
My
April
apologies
Fools.
for that.
Amen, that is my motion.
Well, I'll start looking at the motions too. I haven't done that in a while, thank you. But you got me looking at places I haven't looked at in a while. All
Keep
right.
everyone on their toes.
Did we get a second on
I'll
that?
second.
Okay.
I sure hope so.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And I will state for the record, this is, that last set in the public hearing was for miniature horses. And contrary to a published paper, that is not yet a done deal, as was referenced in a published paper. So council will make that decision next month. It's still out there, in spite of what everybody
be
might be
discussed.
reading in the paper. All right. Next, we have a subdivision on 921 West Kitty Hawk Road. And this is just regular planning for us, okay?
All right, the applicant has submitted an application and preliminary plat for the subdivision of the parcel at 921 West Kitty Hawk Road. The plat outlines a proposal to subdivide one existing parcel totaling 8.82 acres on the western side of West Kitty Hawk Road into 3 separate lots. There's no road or road expansions proposed as part of the subdivision. The 3 lots would be Lot 1RR would be 5.45 acres in total area and 190,883 square feet of uplands area. Lot 2RR would be 31,408 square feet and 28,981 square feet of that is uplands area. And Lot 3RR is 115,145 square feet. Of that, 77,381 square feet would be uplands area. Because there are no improvements proposed or recommended conditions of approval, and I talked to Casey about this before we went to the planning board, we've presented it as both the preliminary and final plat. Should there be any conditions of approval which would require a revised plat, we can make them resubmit as the final plat from there, but the subdivision ordinance, the way it's currently processed is a preliminary plat would come in, go to the planning board, get town council approval. The developer would go in, install the roads and other improvements, and then they would submit the final plat, which would go back to the planning board and town council. In talking with Casey, we kind of determined that, this one's just carving out new lot lines with no improvements, so rather than a minimum of 4-month process, we could do it in a 2-month review. And Casey didn't see any issues with our subdivision ordinance with doing it this way. So the subject property currently has a single-family home as well as a commercial building on the site. The property is zoned BC2. VC2 does allow single-family residences as a permitted use by right. The minimum lot size in the VC2 district is 15,000 square feet, 15,000 square feet of non-CAMA or CRC wetlands. As noted above, all the proposed lots exceed that minimum lot size. The VC2 district does not mention any specific maximum density. The density of this proposed subdivision would come to 0.34 dwellings per acre. And you see in the lot width, I have a reference to VR1 district is 75 feet. The VC1 and 2 districts are written that when single-family residences are constructed, that they conform to the VR1 dimensional requirements. So the minimum lot width is 75 feet, measured at the front building setback on each parcel. Lots must have a minimum road frontage of 50 feet. It appears that all 3 of these lots will comply with this standard. As I mentioned, no new roads or right-of-ways proposed as part of this subdivision. The only condition recommended is that an access easement be recorded for lots 2RR and 3RR to continue to have access through the commercial property at Coast Kitchens. You can see the drive aisles there. And the one thing I wanted to note, kind of touch on too, the subdivision ordinance prohibits flag lots in Kitty Hawk. And, sorry, I've been fighting a little bit of the cold for a couple of days here. The ordinance defines a flag lot as a lot that has a narrow frontage on a street and a thin strip of land which provides access from the street right away to a wider portion of the lot. While there is a thin strip of land on lot 3RR between the proposed 2RR and adjacent lot to the south, the proposed lot has approximately 100 feet of road frontage on West Kitty Hawk Road, which is double the minimum. And also, as the proposed lot is to be accessed via lot 1RR, the thin strip of land does not provide access from the street right away to the wider portion of the lot. So by plain read of the definition, this layout does not fit the definition of flag lot. The CAMA land use plan designates this area as a low-density residential area. And at the March 14th, 2019 meeting, the planning board unanimously recommended approval of the proposed preliminary/final plat for 921 West Kitty Hawk Road, subject to an access easement being recorded as listed in the staff report.
Council, any questions?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. I just have a curious question. On lot 2RR, looking to the left of the lot, that's a piece that's just kind of pinched off there and not included in to that long strip. I was kind of curious as to why that is. Is there a different purpose? Is it all wetlands?
It's
This,
connected.
That plus the little triangle there.
Right.
You see where we're going with that?
It's
It's just
connected
kinda-
to the top part, I think,
right,
It is connected,
as one parcel. That's part of lot, whatever.
yeah. But I'm just curious why that didn't, instead of that long piece down there, why it didn't fold in. Does it have another purpose?
I'm Doug Steins, surveyor.
Please come
Trying
up.
to figure out,
Doug?
okay, trying to figure out your question really, for the lot to be a continual lot, it had to be on the road frontage, right?
Right.
And so where we started out was with the house itself, to satisfy the house setbacks. And that pretty much defined in a 75-foot wide lot where the house is.
Okay, I get that.
That kind of defined what was left over, was that strip. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to answer your question. The question is,
Well, the question I'm trying to ask is, why didn't that strip go all the way to the lines that we're talking about there? Is there going to be another purpose to that triangular piece there, sitting to the left?
triangle piece is.
There you
this
go.
right here. Well, that's the boundary line. So, I mean, there's no other purpose except for just to, have a straight line. We had to have road frontage, right?
Right.
And a straight line from the road going up towards the house.
For both lots.
Each lot had to have that road frontage. I'm trying to understand your question.
It's all right. It's not important.
There's nothing, first we had the house, and the lot width at the house.
Okay.
And everything else was dictated by that.
All right, council have any other questions? All right, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I move to approve the preliminary final plat for Margaret M. Neal that divides one existing parcel off of West Kitty Hawk Road into 3 lots, provided that an access easement for lots 2RR and 3RR is recorded.
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have new business, space needs study.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda, 9A, is for council to consider approval of a space needs study and site capacity study for town-owned properties on the west side of US 158 between Bennett and Grissom Street. Town staff was requested by the town council to determine a possible location for the construction of a future police department station and future fire substation. This request was made by the town council during the capital budget workshop as a result of the continuous flooding of the existing police department station on Kitty Hawk Road. Town staff and the engineer has ruled out the possibility of locating any types of government facilities on town hall property as a result of the wetlands and the amount of unbuildable property at this location here. We did have John DeLucia, Willie Midget, and the police chief met with him, and there is a map that we have, and there's just so much wetlands. There's very little buildable property without making some significant modifications, and the permitting requirements, as you know, to build on wetlands become a little bit challenging. So as a result, town staff is now considering the option of 4 town-owned lots on the west side of US 158 between Bennett and Grissom Street. It is recommended that before any final decision is made on a location, that a feasibility and site capacity study is conducted by the town. This study will aid the town in making an informed decision on the location of a future police department and the possible future fire substation when the time is appropriate. Funds for this study are available. This year in the fiscal year budget, the town set aside $125,000 for a future police department in the capital budget. Town council, we're recommending the town council approve the space needs site study in the amount of $5,000 to be conducted by Cahoon Caston Architects out of Nags Head, North Carolina. Basically what this study will do, you have their proposal here, is they'll analyze the lot, any issues that there may or may not be, water sewer issues, access issues, site, the size of the site, what we're allowed to construct on this site, and it'll give us a better idea of how feasible the site would be to move forward when the council decides to do that for the construction of a police department. And of course, we'd also want to make sure that there's room available for some sort of future fire substation on the north side of town. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the mayor, but staff recommends approval of this needs and site capacity study.
We never did get any more word from EMS about their thoughts in joining that.
We still did have some more discussion with them. We'll have them at the table again when we next, for this discussion. It's my understanding that they'll put an ambulance somewhere, but I don't know how they, as far as participating in the cost, if they do that.
Okay.
But we'll get some more information on that as to what their criteria is and where they would like to be as well.
Okay, well, we come first. If they want to join in, then, that's the way it is. But we're doing this, looking ahead, trying to, look at what we've got, where we are, and what we need. So, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the space needs and site capacity study in the amount of $5,000 to be conducted by Cahoon and Caston Architects, Nags Head, North Carolina.
All right, all right. Any further discussion?
I'd like to make just one comment. This study will aid the town in making an informed decision on the location of a future police department and possible future fire substation at the appropriate time. I'd just like to go on record. I would like to move forward as soon as possible as we can. I don't know what you're referring to as the appropriate time, but I think we all see the need as soon as we can get this done. I know that falls into your budget there, Andy, but it's not something we need to put off for 10 or 15 years. It's my opinion.
I don't think we were thinking that, but we were looking to what is needed, what could be done, utilitarian, and can we budget for it in a couple of years in a way that basically we don't borrow money. I'm not into borrowing money. We've got beach nourishment coming back up. Next year, we're going to be talking about that. All right.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Okay. Next, we've talked about a resolution opposing offshore natural gas, oil, drilling and exploration. Would you pass that along? One for you, same here for you.
Thank you.
Kitty Hawk has been silent on this issue since I came on council in 2005. The last resolution regarding this was done in 2005 under Mayor Bill Harris's tenure. We have kind of kept our silence onto it, not to get into the hue and cry. So before you folks, I ask you to make a decision. I'm going to read some comments into the record, and then you can do what you need to do. So these are comments concerning offshore seismic survey and offshore drilling. There are active, impassioned, and very vocal citizens concerned with this issue. Sometimes elected officials have the difficult task of ensuring that moderate or different opinions are considered when deciding a course of action. This question having come before council, I offer the following points for your consideration. The comments are separated into seismic survey and then drilling, since each represent unique process and end result. Survey companies have used seismic survey methods all over the world as a first determination if possible oil or gas deposits exist in any given area. Such surveys using explosives and other devices have been done off this coast. To my knowledge, nowhere in the world, including off our coast, has this caused immediate or lasting damage to the aquatic environment. During my second career sailing as a U.S. Naval submarine surveillance vessel on U.S. Naval ship submarine surveillance vessels, one of those vessels was part of a 3-vessel test using 3 different types of active signal combined with passive listening receptors. My particular vessel used submerged explosive devices that detonated every 12 minutes. During those tests, we sometimes had fish around the vessel that sustained no harm, including not taking flight from the area. Toward the end of this career, I was part of a crew that placed into service another active, passive submarine hunting vessel. The device on this vessel is known as low frequency amplification, LFA. It consists of an active underwater signal with passive listening receptor. That system and several other similarly outfitted vessels continue to be in service protecting our country and naval fleet. Based on this experience, I find it difficult to accept that serious harm would accrue from seismic survey off our coast. That said, a report that 5 surveys would be conducted simultaneous defies rational logic. No survey company would compromise retrieved data subjected to competing sonic survey. I believe our country needs to understand what is or is not present using the best technology so that we remain prepared for the future. If seismic surveying revealed promise, then actual drilling might someday take place. In the case of our North Carolina coast, I learned from Dr. Stanley Riggs that the genealogy of the relatively close continental shelf is young and therefore not conducive to the presence of oil or gas deposits. This was apparently borne out during the last surveys of the area. Any promise in geology would have to be in the much older deposits deep in canyons at least 30 miles from our shore. From personal experience conducting U.S. Coast Guard merchant vessel inspections on drill ships, I know that extensive effort goes into making vessels, equipment, people, and the environment safe from harm. Yes, unintended consequence has occurred, but each event produced better processes, improved equipment, and more highly trained personnel. While there is no such thing as making any exploration totally sailor-proof, the distance from our shore, combined with constantly improved equipment techniques, training, and oversight, make the effort worth the limited risk. This country needs to know if the resource is available to us in time of need. Now, with all this said, I firmly believe that any resource, if found, should not be to the exclusive benefit of the federal government. Any state that may incur the risk of environmental harm from extraction of oil or gas off its coast should receive direct benefit in proportion to the risk involved. All right, now we have the resolution. It's the same one basically, but I did have it updated to reflect Bomey and some of the things that no longer exist. They're in a different form now. Council, you can make a motion to approve, deny, or you may want to table it for a month because we do lack one of our council members. The choice is yours. What do you want to do?
I'll make a motion to approve this resolution opposing offshore natural gas, oil exploration and drilling. I am totally against it.
Does that have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion? No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Thank you. All right, town manager, you're up.
Thank you. Just a couple of announcements, actually, quite a few announcements. The spring chipping will take place next Monday, April 8th. Put your debris in the right-of-way at least 3 feet from the side of the road. Debris can no longer than 4 inches in diameter and 6 feet long, and no stumps, lumber, leaves, or yard clippings will be collected. The special primary election for the U.S. House of Representatives seat for District 3 will take place on Tuesday, April 30th. As a result, the town's Recreation Board Committee has been rescheduled for Tuesday, April 23rd because of this special election. In regards to the election, town voters, the election will be held here at Town Hall between 6:30 and 7:30 on Tuesday, April 30th. There are 26 candidates who have filed for this election. The League of Women's Voters has a summary of each candidate on their online voter guide. It's on www.vote411.org. Some good news for us. The Carolina Panthers is celebrating their 25th anniversary. The team will recognize on May 1st as part of what they call Keep Pounding Day, which is an organizational day of community service for their team. There's 25 service projects that has been selected throughout the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, and the town of Kitty Hawk was actually chosen by the organization to do a service project in our town. It's a beautification project, so what we did and Willie did was set them up with the Better Beaches Today, or More Beaches to Love organization, and they're going to be planting sea oats purchased by the Carolina Panthers organization here in the town of Kitty Hawk. So they'll be sending some of their staff and some of their volunteers from their organization will be in town. So yeah, that'll be up to $7,500 of grass, so that's good for the town. We appreciate the Carolina Panthers organization for selecting us. The town's next large item pickup will take place on Monday, May 6th. You can visit the town's website for more information on what will and will not be collected. And then just don't forget that April 29th at 9 a.m. is the budget workshop for the town council. So that being said, that's all I have this evening.
Okay. Mr. Attorney?
Let me know if the players come out, Andy. They're my team, man. I'll have to go meet them now.
We're going to put a helmet on.
I'm sure they will.
Pads and a helmet
Probably
on.
go up to the Hilton.
That I was about to say. That's correct. That's correct. And nothing from me though, Mayor. Nothing substantive.
Nothing? All right, council, Jeff?
I don't have anything tonight.
Lynn?
I have nothing either.
I like the way you started off the meeting with the prayer. We did have a tragedy in our town today. The moment of silence, the way you started the meeting. I think we need to keep a lot of people, family, in our thoughts and prayers, as well as a lot of first responders who are at the scene. I understand some of them may have been bothered too, been there and done that. That's all I've got.
All right. I don't have anything to add. Public comment. Anyone? Let the record show. They all left. All right. I motion to recess until April 29, 2019 at 9 a.m. for a fiscal year 2019-20 budget workshop.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you.